What I'm working on today is a 1993 Chevy S10 pickup, and today I'm going to be replacing the steering gearbox. Now what I've been noticing is it hunts a little bit on the road, and I've replaced some other components previously, so everything else is tight, but the steering box is really the suspicious part. And in particular, what it's doing is if I'm going down the road and all of a sudden the grade changes left to right or something, it'll suddenly take up the slack, shall we say. I've got the ignition on, so I can just show you the amount of play right now without moving the wheels. It's not excessive, it's not got a whole bunch of play, it's not dangerous, but I did replace it on one with the steering box on one before, and what an amazing improvement it has. Now the truth is, there is a lash setting on the gearbox, and you could possibly get away with just tightening it up some more, taking out the lash, but I don't know enough about how to do that, so let's just replace the gearbox with a rebuilt one that somebody did know how to fix. And it's not a huge procedure, semi-DIY friendly. As long as you're safe enough to put the stuff back properly, you'll get away with it. Let's get to it. So when we're talking about a steering gearbox, we're talking about that thing down there. It basically connects the steering shaft that comes from your steering wheel, a couple of power steering hoses, a couple bolts from the side, pitman arm, and is that it? I don't know. We'll see. It just basically it's just a gearbox, but it's powered gearbox. This one's got power steering. It's just a power assist, I guess you'd say. It's not true hydrostatic steering. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, it's power steering on the Chevy S10 pickup, and let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do on mine, lock the steering in the perfectly centered position. And we're going to get this air tube out of the way, just make it easier. Alright, I'm just going to start by getting this out of the way. It's just a little plastic cover that protects any debris from getting in your steering joint there. And before you tear into it, assuming this might be the only car you have available on this day, go ahead and check your orientation of your hoses, and just generally make sure the thing looks right. I got mine turned on the side a little, and this one does. But that's always a good idea to double check before you assume it's the one, and then you take everything apart, and now you don't have a vehicle to go get the parts if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Alright, so we got two fittings that go into there. This fitting has probably a barb on it or something, and you just literally take the hose off the barb first, and then you could turn the fitting. Hose grip pliers, mighty handy. These ones aren't on my Amazon affiliate link, but there might be some available through Amazon. If not, these are just Harbor Freight, and I do already have a drain pan down there waiting, but we won't need it because I'm going to stick mine upwards, and the other one should be able to come up and out when we get that one loose. So first I'm going to take off this fitting, and then that'll give me more access to the other fitting nut. Well, not the metric or imperial sizes I have fit that exactly, so I'm going to wait to that one to get that one off, and I'm going to try to just take the other line because it barely fits also. Okay, that one came. And so I don't strip something out here. This one seems very tight because I'm slipping on it. I don't want to strip it out. If I get it out where I can work on it, I can get a different wrench on it. Alright. Fold that up out of the way so it's not leaking. Now I'm going to take the clamp bolt that clamps the steering shaft, that flex joint, onto the shaft there. That one's 7/16 it looks like. I think that one has to come all the way out because they use it to, it's not just clamping, it's also going in the groove, I believe it is. So take that one all the way out. Alright, I got you underneath with me, and this big nut here, that's the pitman arm, that holds it onto the pitman arm. So off camera I can't hold the camera and deal with this big 1-inch bar, so I will get that nut loose. Got the nut off. Let's see how bad that thing's gonna fight me coming off of there. So I've got this multi-puller set. I found this to be very useful. This is just a knockoff brand. It doesn't even have a brand on it, believe it or not. But I'll put a link in the Amazon for something like it. But there's nothing better than having the proper tool for a job, and this is it. I don't know how tight it's really on there, but this tool is the proper tool instead of beating on it and breaking something else. And I'm still going the wrong way. Oh yeah, she's on there, folks. There it goes. There's probably 50 other ways of doing that, but that's the safest, most surefire way of getting off without wrenching your arm or other body parts. Nice. Now I've got you looking in my wheel well. There's 1, 2, 3 bolts, and then we just have to pull it straight down off the shaft for the steering knuckle there. Just realized when I was pointing at those, I pointed here and here. No, it's actually here, here, and here. I couldn't see what I was even pointing at. Let's see if these want to come off. Oh, they're barely even tight. And that's some. Oh, that's lucky. And this should be the last one. I saw it start to drop. You can watch right in there and see that steering knuckle come apart. Ooh, that's heavy. Alright, got you out here. Let's get this fitting out. Yeah, nothing on here was very tight. Just needed to snap loose real quick. And then these have replaceable O-rings, and the new kit comes with that. Alright, let's get those O-rings changed out. Here's the one on the hard line for the power steering. Good. And the one for the return line. This one's been massively smushed. Wow. Yeah, it was holding, so can't complain. There we go. Alright. Back here with the new pump. If anybody's wondering what this stuff is, they painted the rubber for reasons I'll never understand. I guess they probably just use that as a cover so this stuff didn't get all messed up. I have no idea. I'm going to just leave that loosely on there, and the reason is just so no debris gets in there. Next thing to do, I'm going to put these on the same angle and make sure that flat is turned the same way. That one came out like that. We can move this, of course, and that's about right. Just so it goes in easily when we get it in there. It's a little heavy to try to move around. Alright, I'm going to get you the shot from the top here. We're going to try that. I'm going to try going in from the bottom. If that doesn't work, I'll come in the other way. Alright, I gotta get that shaft lined up probably before I bolt that. So I'm gonna work from up here, I think. Well, that fell right back out of the way. Not like I wanted. Just a matter of trying to get everything to line up and go in. There it is. There it is. Part 1, partially held. Driven home. Awesome. Whew. That was probably the hard one. The pitman arm would be the second hardest, and the bolt hole is not as hard. How did I end up getting mine? Yep. The old floor jack. Lifted her right up there, held it for me, was able to get all three in. There they are. Somewhere. Now I just got to get this lined up with the splines. I don't know if it is already or if it's close. And drive it up. And there's splines on the shaft, as we can see. Can you see? Not with that bad a focus. Anyway, splines on the inside of that pitman arm, splines on the shaft. Both gotta match the notches, and then she'll drive in the upwards position. All right, I'm gonna try just driving it up and see if it is on the splines. Oh yeah, she's already lined up perfectly. That's why we line up the steering with the center and don't move anything. Alright, well I was using that nut as a tripod. Work with me here. Work with me. Don't get seasick. Aha! Why did I put the socket away like I wasn't going to need it? Tighten that to your factory specification. Alright, so the camera I usually record with has just completely died. Don't know if it'll be coming back. Don't know where I stopped on the actual recording that was working. But what I was saying was, this tube, I put the tube in first. I kept the nut up. Put the tube in the hole, then bring the nut down on it. That way you know the thing's in the centered in the hole properly. You get the right crush on your little O-ring down there. So I'm gonna cock this back a little bit, tighten it, and as it's tightening, it'll go into its happy home as it's tightening down. Alright, I'm just gonna clean mine up with some brake clean or any kind of degreaser you got. Especially if you're going to return it to someone else, you don't want any drips, and also for yourself you can check to make sure it doesn't drip. I've exchanged my fluid, and there is a bleeding procedure you need to follow to get the air out of the system. Follow that procedure. Rule number 1, don't go hard over all the way left and hold it, and don't go hard over all the way right and hold it. And once you bleed it out partially, just shut it off and let it sit for a while. There's aeration that happens, and if you hear a whining, it's because of airs in the system. Just let it settle and then go back to it. Don't just go start driving the truck and, you know, hoping the whining will go away. You'll just keep stirring it up more. Sometimes you just got to stop, let the air work its way out through the bubbles, and then get back to it.